Hello, you guys. Happy Monday. It's Monday. I'll wait for a few of you to get on here. So tonight I am talking all about what it's like to be an AIP beginner or a newbie. I know that there are a lot of new faces around here, so I thought this would be great to share with you. I have a special guest. His name is Sheldon, and he just started the AIP basically at the end of August. And so we worked together for 4 weeks, and he did my 30-day AIP Back to Basics program. But rather than doing it in a group situation, because I wasn't running it at that time, we actually just did it as a one-on-one coaching program. So he's going to be here today to talk to you guys about what it's like to embark on an AIP journey as a total newbie. So he hadn't heard of the AIP diet before. Hi, Jessica. And so he's going to talk a little bit about his experience with the AIP as a newbie. So we'll just wait for him to get on here, and then we will get started. So for those of you that don't know, I am running my 30-day AIP Back to Basics program starting this Sunday, September 20th, and it's going to be run for the last time this year. Sounds so crazy because 2020 has just been such a strange year, you guys. And I ran it in March when things were very crazy in the world. So yeah, I just find it's interesting that this is going to be the last run of it. But the reason that it's going to be the last run is basically because I am going to be running my brand new group coaching program starting November 1st for 6 weeks, and it is going to be a reintroductions program. So over in my Facebook AIP support group, I've been getting so many people, literally like 10 people a day, joining the program, or the group, sorry, because they have interest in the program for reintroductions. So if you're somebody who is not an AIP newbie and you're ready for reintroductions, definitely stay tuned because I will be talking about that, in approximately 4-ish weeks. And you can find out more about that. There is a wait list. So if you would like to be added to the wait list, it's already quite long, and the spots will be very limited. So if you are interested in getting on the wait list, definitely send me a message after this so that I add you to the wait list. So I'm hoping that Sheldon is going to come on here soon. Let me see here. I don't think he's here yet. No, not yet. So yeah, basically, I'm going to be running that program, and I'm super excited about it. It's the only program that exists like this. There is no other group coaching program for reintroductions, because this is normally something that I do one-on-one with my clients, but I know so many of you want support with this aspect of the AIP, and technically it is the most difficult part of the AIP because you have to be very patient, and you have to be very in tune with your body. And so this program, my Back to Basics program, is actually a really great way for you to get prepared to do reintroductions, because we're going to reset your immune system so that it brings it back to a baseline so that we can get really true readings when we introduce foods, and we can see if they are good for you or not. So doing AIP before you do reintroductions for a minimum of 30 days is a really great idea. And so I'm going to be doing it along with you guys, the reintroductions. So I'm going to be doing 30 days of AIP as well, starting on September 20th, so that we can make sure we are ready to do reintroductions properly. So, okay. I'm just going to see here if I can message him, because I'm not seeing him on here, and I was just talking to him like 2 seconds ago. Maybe he doesn't know how to get on here, so just give me a second, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them below, and we'll just see if we can get a hold of him here. Sorry for dead air. All right, so just sent him a message and hopefully he will find us. So what's interesting about the reintroductions part of the AIP is that it's so customized, which is what's made it so hard for me to do it in a group setting. So I'm really excited. My assistant Samantha and I have worked really, really hard on this program and hopefully making it something that you can take yourself and fine tune and make work for you. So we're super, super excited for you to join us. It starts November 1st. And like I said, this program that we're going to do right here is a great way to lead into it. So Sheldon is here now. So I'm going to send us here. And then we'll get started with his interview, talking all about what it's like to be an AIP beginner. Hi, Sheldon.
Hi.
We got it figured out. Thank goodness I had my computer here.
I've never done this before. Sorry.
He's a good sport. He's coming on here, like I said, and he's like me, and it's been a long Monday already, so I appreciate you being here. All right. So as I said, Sheldon is basically an AIP beginner. So, I mean, he's not new to the world of healthy eating, but he definitely was new to the autoimmune paleo world. So I'm just going to ask him to kind of talk a little bit about how he and I connected and a little bit about you and the AIP. How did this all come about?
Well, I've known for a long time that something was wrong. I knew I had inflammation. I didn't know to what degree. I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I've always just been searching for answers. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm always mentioning it to someone to see if they have something to suggest. And I actually mentioned it to my massage therapist, and she mentioned your name when I was saying that I needed something where someone could help me and give me the support I needed so that I could figure out not only what to eat, but how to find those things, especially when I'm in a place like Whitecourt, but how to find them. It was kind of just, she let me know about you, and it was even over and above that. It was helping me with finding it, how to cook it. There's recipes, there's all sorts of things. And that was just something that was right up my alley. So I reached out that night.
Yes. So we have the same masseuse actually. So that's how, and our masseuse has a couple of autoimmune diseases. And so I was always talking to her whenever I was getting massage. And then I gave her, you know, all the documentation, things that she would need to get started. And she got started right away. I brought her a bunch of Christmas baking last year, and she did really, really well. Like her numbers and everything went way down, and she's feeling so much better. So she always talks to her clients about me, which is very nice of her. And so she was talking to Sheldon, and that's kind of how we connected. And we live in a very rural northern town, so we just don't have a ton of access to these types of ingredients. So it's nice to have somebody kind of show you what does it look like, where should you order it from, and of course we're in Canada where we have even less access to those types of things. So whether you're in the US or Canada, I know where to get the ingredients that you'll need for these things. But that aside, you still can eat AIP without a lot of specialty ingredients. It's just if you want to have baking and things that you miss, comfort food, then you're going to need a few specialty ingredients, but I can show you where to get those easily. So thanks for sharing that. So I want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be an AIP newbie, because obviously I was one, but that was almost 7 years ago now. So sometimes I forget what it feels like. And so when you were thinking about, you know, you said you've been kind of asking people, you're always sort of intrigued to learn about, you know, how you can lower the inflammation in your body. Did you at all think about for a second what it would be like to embark on your AIP journey by yourself without support?
I did. I probably didn't think about it enough, which is a good thing. But yeah, I thought about it a little bit, and it made me nervous. But there was once I started with you and started to see how, well, for one thing, learn how to cook. And I felt a little bit more at ease. And there's still days where I realize that I think I'm in week 6 now or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
And you know, I think about reintroduction, but I think about, you know, not needing to do that right now. But there are times where I have to get my mindset back, kind of reframe everything and just understand that this is a process that takes time and stuff like that. I don't think I thought about that a lot at the beginning. And I don't think a person should, because you can overthink it and time goes by so quickly, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, to not worry about where you're going to end up, just to kind of get started. And I know we talked a lot in the beginning. You said it was very overwhelming to, think about the cooking. So do you want to talk a little bit about your cooking experience and things when we started? Just to give people a background, because a lot of people think they can't do this if they're not somebody who spends a lot of time in the kitchen.
Well, with your help, I learned a lot of things that I just didn't know. I mean, from activating garlic and sweating onions, I didn't know that stuff. I
Yes.
tried to do stuff in the past, and I just chop it up and throw it in the pan, and just along with everything else. So I mean, those little intricacies, learning those things and learning a process of doing things, and I mean, it was easy once I actually got going with you like that. So.
Right. Yeah. So, he wanted to cook. He was eager to learn to do those things, but just needed to have somebody show him how to do that. Obviously, it was easier because I could do it in person.
Yeah.
But
I needed that. Maybe not everybody needs that. I needed that, but I only needed it just to boost my confidence a little bit,
Yes.
and then I could get going. And then once you actually, and I think it was the first 2 weeks that we cooked together, and you showed me all the stuff, and then I've done it ever since. And your recipes are so easy to follow, and I mean, even with my limited experience, I was able to do it, and kind of it just went off without a hitch. You know what I mean? So I was really impressed by that.
I am very impressed by him, because I mean, a lot of people struggle with AIP baking. I myself, in the beginning, I would make recipes and my baking would look like such crap. I mean, it tasted all right, but I'd be like, oh, if anybody saw this, they would be like, what are you eating? And I showed him how to make a couple of different recipes, and then he would just, cook them again, and they looked perfect. Like, I could have photographed them for the blog. So for not having much cooking experience, his baking skills were really, really good. And AIP baking, as you know, is a little bit more of a science, and definitely a little bit tricky. But he really took to them, and he even said that he shared it with people at his work, kids, and they were willing to eat it. So if you're worried about that, your family, wanting to eat it, or your kids, I know I talked to Liz a couple of days ago on here, and she said, her teenagers at first were like, what the heck is that stuff? And now her daughter makes her AIP things. So it is all just about getting started, kind of getting over that fear, because it's so overwhelming to think about starting. But that's any change. It's always overwhelming. And in the program, we talk a lot about the growth mindset, which I know you're familiar with, Sheldon. And once you can get that kind of in your head and you just get started, after the first 2 weeks, you're really well on your way. And I know that you definitely picked up basically everything you needed to be successful in the first couple of weeks. So if you've been having trouble with the AIP, not being able to stick to it, or if you're just flat out scared to start it, this program is definitely for you, because it has all of the pieces that you're going to need to get started, along with the coaching support, and doing it in a group format like this. Sheldon is still doing AIP, so I invited him to join us in this group so he can be some support for you guys. But doing it in the group format is really nice too, because you have accountability from each other, and you can talk to each other about what you're feeling. Like I said, because I'm no longer a newbie, sometimes it's nice to have other people that are just right in the trenches with you, doing it for the first time. So I'm sure Sheldon's happy to chat with any of you if you have questions about anything. Okay, so what would you say is your favorite recipes? Because I know that was something that we really focused on, was the cooking aspect. So what would you say are some of your favorite recipes from the program?
Well, one that I eat quite often, because it's so nice for breakfast and even as a snack, is the honey basil sausages, and I do it with ground pork.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites, and I actually went out and got a dehydrator now, and
oh, nice.
Take frozen cranberries and maple syrup and organic orange juice, and you can make a really good cranberry jelly. And you can you can also make cranberry fruit roll-ups with a dehydrator like that. So it's really, really good. Anyways, the jelly with those pork basil sausages is really great. And you can just eat it so quickly in the morning, or like I said, for a snack. The banana chocolate smoothie is my favorite, just because it gives me that sweetness that I need. I got a bit of a sweet tooth. The banana chocolate muffins, I've given them to friends and their kids and everything, and they call them cupcakes because they're like, they taste that good. And they don't have icing on them or anything, but the kids really love them, and I love them. I think I've in the 6 weeks, I think I've made them probably once a week at least. So
Yeah.
I've eaten
And
70
they turn out well. Yeah, and he shares them. So if any of
Right.
you are local, you can just send him a message. He'll share his muffins.
And it doesn't take very long either. It's very quick. The
Yeah,
avocado taco, that's a really good one.
Taco
That's
bowls.
one of my favorites. And the beef or chicken chow mein. So using the broccoli slaw and doing it that way. And, yeah, I haven't made it in a little while. I'm out of the fish oil, and I need to, or the fish. Yeah, it's fish oil, is it? Yeah.
Fish sauce. Fish sauce. Yeah.
Fish sauce. Yeah.
So the fish sauce
really, really
is what
good.
kind of gives it the takeout flavor, right?
Yeah.
You can leave it out if you don't have it, because like I said, if you're in Canada, you have to order it from the States, but you can leave it out. But it does give it that takeout flavor. So yeah. So see, lots of recipes.
Scallops. That's not yours, but the bacon that you showed me to get,
Yes.
I've made bacon wrapped scallops a few times. So
Nice.
you can get scallops where they don't have the same as shrimp, where they have all the whatever it is, phosphates and sodium phosphate or whatever is in them. You can get scallops that are just scallops, and then you just thaw them. You can get them frozen like that, and then you can wrap that AIP bacon around them. So good.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, one of my favorite things with Sheldon, we would go grocery shopping, and it's just teaching him how to read all of the ingredients, because most people just don't know that they like throw random additives in there. I mean, I know they have a purpose, but you also can have that food without those additives. So with AIP, that's something that's really important. A lot of people, they buy coconut milk and they just don't realize that there's additives in there that are not technically AIP compliant and could be hard on the digestive system and or causing inflammation. So we did a lot of label
I'll send you pictures from just about every place I go shopping, but
yes,
you're very good at answering them very quickly. Thank you.
So there you go, you guys. I'm always kind of available. Okay, so lots of good recipes there. And like I said, pretty much anybody will eat them. But if you are the only one doing AIP, everything is set up that way. So if you have a family and you need to be cooking for more than just yourself, then you can double or triple recipes. But everything is set out just for you to cook for the week. So the other thing I kind of was just talking to Sheldon about is how him and I are both very busy and we work a lot. So this program is very doable, even if you are somebody who works a lot or you're very busy and you have kids and you're running them places. So the way that we do that is through meal prepping. This is optional in the program, but it is really helpful if you are somebody who is super busy. So the way that it works is we cook 2 days a week. So we usually cook Sunday or Monday, and then Wednesday or Thursday. And that's really helpful for letting you have, meals for a few days so that you don't have to cook every single night. Do you want to talk a little bit about your experience with that, Sheldon? And the batch cooking?
I used to do it in one day, but I break it up now. And I actually, I've found a few things that I can cook that I like to cook. They're not from your recipes, but I've mixed them in and they're AIP. And so I'll cook some of those throughout the week, but I usually will take 2 or 3 days, like evenings while I'm watching football or doing something like that. I'll be cooking and making things while I'm doing that. And then it's not such a big ordeal. But the thing is that you're doing it then, and it's so easy then to go home for lunch or take it with you. Or when you come back in the evening, you just heat it up. And so it's not really more time. It's just more time at once, right? Otherwise you have to be prepping food, or you have to be cooking for yourself all the time, right? So I would say it's just more about planning that way. I started off thinking I was going to take my whole Sunday to do it, but that's just not reasonable. So.
Well, and
football just started this week, so of course I can't do that all Sunday. So.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we had done it, because of course, for him and I to line up our schedules, we were doing it on like Saturday or Sunday, or doing a few hours on Saturday, a few hours on Sunday. But yeah, generally when I do it, I usually cook on Sunday because I have some time. And then I usually like to cook on about, Wednesday, middle of the week, when I still have some energy left to do it. And then another thing you can do is, of course, just freeze like one portion from every meal that you make, so that you have a freezer stock up for the days when you're tired or you run out of time and you don't have something ready to go. But that is definitely something that people struggle with, because many people don't succeed on the AIP because there's no convenience foods that are readily available for you, and they get busy and then they don't have anything prepared. So that's kind of my foolproof way of ensuring that I always have something in the freezer, so I'm not tempted to eat something that's not AIP.
Right. And you can make double batches or triple batches if you have a
Yes.
good freezer. And if you don't, I don't think freezers are super expensive if you wanted to go out and get one that you could freeze food and put in there. But muffins, things like that, like so that you're not always making those things, you can make them and freeze them and pull them out as you need them, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I've started to do for sure is freeze more stuff. Because even if you're going to be doing the 3 or 4 servings that you're going to need throughout the week, unless you want food poisoning, you got to freeze them anyways and pull them out on Wednesday, right?
As you learned. Okay, so we learned lots of things. Yeah, it was great. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that Sheldon mentioned that sometimes now he will make other recipes as long as they're AIP. So I get that question a lot. Is that allowed? Of course, this is not, I'm not the police. I'm not going to say, today you have to make this recipe. So a lot of people do ask that. Some people need the structure of, you know, being told, this is what you're going to shop for. So here's your grocery list, get all of these things. This is what you're going to prep on this day. And I do provide that in the group. It's there for you. I tell you exactly what to do each day if you want to follow it, but you are not obligated to follow it in that way. In fact, I have some people who, you know, are retired or they are not working, and so they prefer to cook each day. Some people work night shifts. So however it's going to work for you, you can totally make that flexible for yourself. But know that that support is there for you if you need that structure to follow it that way. And the grocery lists are nice too, so that you can make sure that you have everything for the week, and you can do it in 2 shopping trips or you can do it all in one. That's up to you as well. I just see we have a question here, Sheldon, for you. I think someone's just asking, Christy's asking for your Facebook. So Christy, you can just message him here on Instagram and talk to him that way. And then I also have some people asking, lots of people want to follow you, Sheldon, and hear about your recipes and your suggestions. Okay, so we have some questions about weight loss. Yeah, he's in the Facebook group. So if you guys join the program, which you should, he'll be in there offering support as we're all going to be starting on Sunday. And okay, so let's talk about weight loss a little bit. We talked a little bit about this, or I did, sorry, on Saturday with Liz. And you had some weight loss too, Sheldon, during your 30 days, well, which is now more like 45 days, but.
Yeah, I actually would probably have more. I haven't been as much on the movement, not because I don't think it's important. I absolutely think it's important, but I was more focused on sleep and rest and making sure that I could do all the cooking and all the prepping like that and stuff. But even, I would say I was actually, over these last 6 weeks or 5 weeks, I was less active than I was coming into it. And yet I've lost between 15 and 18 pounds. And I'm not trying to, but it just sort of, it's unbelievable. I haven't felt like this my whole life, where, like I told you before when I came in here, I don't really have what's normal to relate to. I've always, right from when I was young, I had problems with different foods and inflammation. And so I didn't know what it was like to feel good after I ate. I thought full meant that you felt bad, right? And and now I know that that's not the case. So I can eat a prime rib dinner with turnips and sweet potato mash and a bunch of carrots and different things. And I can eat a whole heaping plate of that and feel great. And eat a muffin for dessert even. And then the next day I'll have lost weight. And I know a lot of the women are going to say it's not fair because guys lose weight quickly, but it's because my body's healing, for one thing. I can tell that it's healing. Everything that has happened over the last 6 weeks indicates that. But now I'm starting to be more mobile. One thing too, I kind of hurt my foot. One thing I will suggest to everybody, if they plan on cooking and they're not used to standing on concrete floors, which mine is in this basement suite, get an activity mat, because if you're standing like that, that's how I hurt. That's how I aggravated a foot injury anyways. But now that it's kind of better, I'm going out and walking and stuff, and I'll be back, working out. and I feel like I can do that now. I have the energy to do that and everything like that. And the weight's going to come off even quicker now because I can already feel it coming off quicker.
Yeah.
And as I keep going along on this. So, I mean, those are the things that keep you going too, right? I wasn't in it for weight loss, but it's just a natural kind of occurrence that's going to happen because of the good food that you're eating. But I can tell with clarity, all sorts of things, brain fog. I mean, when you get to the point like I said before, I'm not diagnosed with anything autoimmune, but I didn't go ask to be diagnosed. Like I didn't go in and ask what's wrong with me either. It's just, I was to the point where he could touch my face and it was just really tender. And I've talked to other people about that, and apparently that's not normal, but I can touch my face wherever now and it's not tender like it was. So a lot of the inflammation is already left out of my face and head area, and it's leaving out of the rest of my body. And I think that's probably the first weight to go is that kind of stuff, right? And
Right.
then now I can feel it. I can, like I said, clarity, all that kind of stuff. In my brain, everything's just functioning that much better, and my muscles and my digestive system I can feel it. I know it. I mean, you know when things are feeling better, and whether it's regular, you're being more regular, anything like that, And I know right now, after 5.5 weeks, that I'm not in a rush to get off of it. I'm excited about reintroducing some stuff like eggs,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you get a really good appreciation for food when you do this too. And every single thing I eat, I appreciate the flavor of it. And it's unbelievable how much better it tastes when you don't have it covered up with all sorts of other things, right? Sauces and whatnot. Exactly, though. I know what it's like when we're eating all the crappy food that we're eating, and it's just like, oh, I want to put ketchup on that, or I want to put ranch on this or ranch on that. Now, when you eat garden carrots, you can tell the difference between garden carrots and other carrots to a big degree. Like you can taste everything in it, right? And it's just like, wow. So you have that appreciation for everything, and I like that. So
Eating food that tastes like food,
then
right?
you actually chew your food the 22 times that it's recommended. You actually chew it that long when you appreciate it.
But is that going to be your =1 tip? That's what you're going to tell people?
No.
So obviously,
but that is a tip.
Yes, in the program. So, we're talking a lot about the diet aspect right now, but as Sheldon mentioned, there are lifestyle pieces like movement, stress management, sleep, having the right mindset. Those are all things that are included in the program, and I teach those live every Sunday. If you can't attend live, they're recorded in the Facebook group. The Facebook group is just for people that are in the group, so it's exclusive. The content is not available anywhere else, and you can learn basically how to incorporate those pieces, because a lot of people, when they start the AIP, they are so focused on the diet piece, and you kind of spoke to that because it's such an overwhelming change. That sort of makes the most sense. And any diet that I've ever done, it's always been about, exercise and what you're eating. And so this one is a little bit different in that, yes, we do focus on what we're eating, but there are also things that go along with it. So you're going to learn what supplements you should be taking, digestion tips, like how much you should chew your food. Because those things all really do make a difference in terms of how our body is breaking them down and using those nutrients. And we are trying to heal the body and lower inflammation. So all of those things are really, really important. Proper protein digestion is another one that's really, really important that most people don't think about. So you will also be learning those things in the program. And then Sheldon also mentioned about reintroductions. So reintroductions are done after you have done the elimination phase of the AIP for a minimum of 30 days. Now, you guys know my story. I did it for 8 months before I had any successful reintroductions. Most people do it for about 60 days, I would say, if they're a total newbie. But a lot of people just have trouble doing reintroductions on their own because you do have to be very strategic in the way that you do it. And so a lot of people do AIP resets, which is what I'm doing. A couple times a year, I just reset, go back strict AIP, like I said, to return to my baseline so that I can get a true read when I eat something. Because I'll give you an example. I can do 30 days of AIP, try to eat a food. I remember I had these banana chips and I literally ate 3 of them and it gave me like instant canker sores on the inside of my mouth. And that was like, I tried them the one day. Then 2 weeks later, I tried them again and it was like my mouth was just a little bit itchy. And then I ate them, throughout the week, a few a day type of thing, to the point where I had no symptoms anymore. right? So just to kind of give you the idea that when you have returned to your baseline, your body will give you a clear indication if it doesn't like something. And the longer you come away from that baseline and the more your inflammation creeps up, the less likely you are to notice if something's causing you an issue or not. So that's kind of why we have to come back and do this AIP reset before we're doing reintroductions. So if you are somebody who needs to do reintroductions, but you've done AIP before, this is also a great program for you to do with us first. We do this for 4 weeks, then we'll take a 2-week kind of break in between, and then we start the reintroductions program on November 1st. And Sheldon might be ready to do it with us then. He's not sure yet, but
I'll probably be ready. I got to get ready for Christmas, right? So
yes, we'll keep you posted. Hopefully he'll be able to do some with us as well. So I also had some people say they were wondering about payment. So the program is $297, but there is a payment plan where you can break it up into 4 equal payments and pay once a week. So there's that option there for you as well. Questions about psoriasis. Can you heal psoriasis through food and lifestyle? So you definitely will see a reduction in your symptoms, especially with skin things. It's usually gluten, dairy, and nightshades for people with skin issues like psoriasis that are most problematic. But the AIP is very helpful in reducing symptoms related to psoriasis as well. Okay, what else? Do share. Okay, so Sheldon does not have a Facebook page. He has a Facebook account, but he is in all of my groups. So if you guys, yeah. Maybe you should get one, Sheldon. Oh, hi, Amanda. So if you guys are in my It's All About AIP community on Facebook, he's in there. And like I said, then he's also in the 30-day AIP Back to Basics group coaching program. So he'll be in there as well. All of those links are in my profile. So just head over there. Oh, hi, Beth. And check that out. Okay. We're just cruising right along here. So we talked a little bit about the movement, and Sheldon had mentioned, and I wanted to kind of touch on this, that he was working out more prior to doing this program than he is now. And that's actually really common because a lot of people are over exercising, and when your body's in an inflamed state, your body will just see that as added stress. And so often you will either gain weight or just not lose any weight. And sometimes you'll just feel really crappy. So your energy level can be really, really low. It's the same as when you get sick. You know, you'll hear a lot of trainers say, if you have a cold, you just power through. That is not my recommendation. If you are not feeling well, it's best to just do things like stretching, walking, or yoga rather than, you know, some sort of high intensity workout. Also, there is such a thing as exercise intolerance. I do teach that in my program. And we can talk about finding the right sort of exercise specific for you, because those of us with autoimmune disease, we have to be a little more careful with everything and find the right balance for us. So that's definitely something we'll talk about as well. And then supplements. Hi, Lana. So as far as supplements go, I do have access to a dispensary with, you know, high quality supplements. I do not charge any commission on any of those. So I basically just send you a prescription. This is what I did for Sheldon. So we just talked about the ones that I thought he should be on, and that would help support his digestion, help support his immune system, especially during a time like COVID. And then I just email it to you, and it's up to you if you want to order them or not. If you find them on Amazon for cheaper, you can do that too, but then at least you know what they look like and which brands I recommend. Because some brands are not great, and even some forms of vitamins or minerals are just not a great usable form for people like us who have poor absorption and poor digestion. So it's definitely something to look into, because you don't want to be wasting your money on supplements that are not working for you. Okay, so Sheldon, what would you say to somebody who is new to the AIP, but they are on the fence either about joining the program or investing in themselves? What would you say to them to get them off the fence?
Well, I would say don't wait until you need to do something like this. If you can be proactive and make that investment in yourself, then you can probably avoid some pretty nasty things in the future. Because if you, like me, I like I said, I wasn't diagnosed with anything, but I think I was going down that route. So if I didn't do something, and there will never be a perfect time to do this, you can talk yourself out of literally every time during the year. It's my 40th birthday in like a week, and people are like, why are you doing that now? Why would you pick now to do that? Right? But it's like, there's literally never a good time to do it. You have to just do it and invest that time in yourself, and not wait until you have to do it because someone's telling you you now have an autoimmune disease. Now you have to do this, because then you're going to have that much more stress on yourself, because you're not doing it because you choose to, you're doing it because you have to. So I would say make the investment. And yeah, I've looked around. I mean, I wasn't looking specifically for AIP, but I was looking for help for a long time with different things. And what you've put together is something that's perfect for my situation. And I think it would help a ton of people, because it gives that structure and foundation and guidance that a lot of people lack. So even with the recipes I was saying that I did that once I felt comfortable, and I felt comfortable because I had a foundation there. So if I had to make a recipe, none of these recipes take very long to make. I never felt like I was going to be without food. It just takes a little bit of time to cook it, but not a lot of time, right? And so that would be my suggestion would be, don't wait. So.
All right, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's a really good point. There is never a good time, and I have quite a few AIP birthday cake recipes on my blog, on the website. So maybe we'll have to figure out a cake for you for next week. So yeah, you definitely, I mean, honestly, you can make any excuse you want, like Sheldon said, but there's never a good time. You're always going to be busy. You know, the weather is bad, your kids have this, you know, you have to travel somewhere. And during a time like this, when most of us are just sticking around locally where we live a little bit more, it actually makes it easier. And we're doing less social situations. So there's less, you know, eating out, that kind of thing. And I did actually, or I am actually, I should say, working on putting together kind of a blog post for you guys, talking all about, you know, how to eat out on the AIP and how to order and navigate a menu, because I know that's something that's very challenging for people. And Sheldon actually, when he started, I was amazed, because he had to, the first week that he started AIP, he had to travel for work. And he was going to go to these business meetings where they had to eat dinners out. And he totally, you guys, brought his food and ate it in the truck, and then went into the restaurant and drank peppermint tea. So that is some real dedication and a growth mindset right there. So great job. But if you are worried about that, that's something I can help you with as well. And he also mentioned about his birthday. And then, like I said, Christmas is coming up. So I do have my cookbook, my ebook, AIP Gatherings. And in there, we have about 40 recipes that are perfect for all celebrations. They're all AIP compliant, and you get a free copy when you join the group. So that'll be available to you. Where do I access the links that you said you would share? They're all in my profile. Christy, if you just click on my picture after we're done here and head to my profile, there's a link. You click that and they're all listed there. The group program is the top one, I believe, or it should be. Okay, so let's finish up, Sheldon, with what is your number one AIP tip that you learned from the program?
Have patience. That you have to come into it and have patience, which I don't have a lot of, but I'm learning to have more with this. You're going to notice changes all the time, good and bad. I mean, it's not like you go on AIP and you feel like roses right away. I mean, if anybody's done a cleanse or anything, you know exactly what happens when you change everything that you're putting into your body. So you have to have patience, because it doesn't happen for very long before you see the really good things that start to happen. And you have to let yourself get there. It didn't take very long. The first few days was a bit hard, but like 1 or 2 weeks into it, I felt way more good times than bad times. And now 6 weeks into it, it's become pretty normal. But I'm seeing things that I haven't felt in a long time, in terms of how I feel, clarity of mind, all that kind of stuff. So you just have to have patience, and you just have to buy into it and do it for yourself. Like I said before, don't wait before you do something like this. That's
right. Yeah. I think for most people, we've run just about 100 people through this program now. And I would say 97% of people are so happy that they did it. And they speak just as Sheldon is, that they didn't even really know that they could feel as good as they feel, because they've always kind of felt like they didn't feel 100%. And so they're working towards that, and they're happy that they're headed in the right direction. Because yeah, most people that get one autoimmune disease end up with multiple autoimmune diseases. And Sheldon technically doesn't have one yet, but like you said, he was just sort of waiting for one to happen, right? So he wanted to be more preventative. So we just have a quick question here, Sheldon. What do you eat for lunch? They would like to know.
I eat leftovers. No, just kidding. It's just that I eat the same things I do for dinner. Sometimes I'll mix it up a little bit, but pretty much I'm just grabbing another one of the portions that I've prepped and I'm popping it in. So I mix it up a lot. But chicken, lots of chicken. I love the avocado taco. It's just so easy, and then you just slice fresh avocado on top of it. I made chicken thighs last night, and I made them with a rub on them, and I took out all the non-AIP stuff. So it had in there still it had garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and olive oil, and I just mixed it into a paste and put it on top. It tasted just like shake and bake. It was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. So but then you cut up some vegetables with it, or do whatever you want. It's pretty easy when you just pop those out of the fridge, because I baked them all off, 10 or 12 of them or whatever. And then I just pull 2 or 3 out and then have some cut up vegetables with it. Super healthy, fills me up for the rest of the day. Lots of things like that. I mean, sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to eat until I get home, but I have enough food in the fridge that I can just figure it out very quickly, and I never feel unsatisfied after I eat it. So.
Yeah, and that's key, having it there ready and then feeling full. The one thing that I love about this diet is that you're never going to be hungry, because a lot of diets that you go on, you're starving, and you don't have to worry about that. Your body will adjust to eating this kind of fuel, and we don't have to worry about counting calories or anything like that, because your body will learn to tell you again when it's actually full, and not try to trick you into eating the whole box of Oreos. So it's definitely exciting. All right, somebody says, I have been AIP since 2017. So glad I made the change. I feel better than I did 25 years ago. Yeah. A lot of people that go AIP, they will say that people say to them they look 10, 15 years younger than they did before. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in my 50s. And people say I look, like I'm in my late 30s. So it's definitely, it shows all over. It's not just going to be an internal feel. You also will reap external benefits as well. And if you're on the other end of the spectrum where you're worried about maintaining your weight, because there are some autoimmune diseases that make it so that you are losing weight quite quickly, don't worry about that. There is modifications we can make for higher carbohydrate to make sure that you also can maintain your weight, because I know that's a concern for some people if it's going the other way. Okay, so I just want to kind of quickly go over what's included in the program. So you're going to get 4 weeks of group support from me, of course. You're going to get weekly Q&A calls with live teachings. There's actually 5 of them. So 1 on mindset, 1 on sleep, 1 on stress management, 1 on movement, and 1 on reintroductions, which will help us get ready for the reintroductions program. You can get an accountability partner in the group. You have unlimited email support. Plus, I am in the Facebook group every day. I'm not supposed to say that I'll be in there every day, but truthfully, I am in there every day. So if you have a question, I will get back to you within, 12 hours. And then you get, of course, 4 weeks of AIP meal plans with the grocery lists and suggested meal prep. So if you want to do it how I suggested, just cooking a couple times a week, all of that information is in there. We do a daily check-in where we post a photo. A lot of people find that really helpful to see what everybody else is eating, and just helps keep you accountable as well. So hopefully Sheldon will do some of that with us. And since you guys all want to know what he's eating, he can post a picture in there and let us know what he's eating. And then you're going to get weekly journals for tracking your food, your symptoms, supplements, all of that stuff. And this part is really key in the program, because it's going to help you prepare for tracking your symptoms that you might have as a reaction to a food that you try to reintroduce. So we teach this so that you get used to doing it, so that you're more in tune with your body when it comes time to doing reintroductions. And along with those live teachings on things like sleep and stress management, I also have guides for you. Share them with your family members. They will be shocked at the sleep one. That is always the one that shocks people the most. Sleep when you're dead is not what we follow in this program. Definitely sleep is very, very important when you're healing. So there's guides on all of those topics for you. And like I said, you also get a free copy of my cookbook, AIP Gatherings. So lots included. It works out to be around $75 a week for 4 weeks, which is actually really affordable when you think about going out to a restaurant and it's $50, getting your Starbucks, which is $9 or $10 a day. It really works out to be an affordable investment. And the greatest thing about it is that I'm teaching you how to continue a healthy lifestyle that supports your autoimmune journey for life. So these are things that you'll be able to take with you and move forward, like Sheldon is. He really only needed me for, 2-ish weeks, and now he's fairly independent, and we just check in and, kind of touch base. So he's a testament to that you definitely can learn how to do all of these things and then be successful independently. So rather than struggling on your own, like a lot of people did, I did, it's just easier to have somebody sort of guide you through initially so that you can get set up for success long-term. All right. So I think that's it. Anything else you wanted to add, or you're good?
No, I'm good. It's
So
interesting. I've never done anything like it.
Yeah. I think most people, so Sheldon is only the second male that I've ever coached. And it was interesting because I actually think sometimes that males are easier to coach than women. Obviously, most of my experience is with coaching women, but yeah, I was blown away at how dedicated he was. Very matter of fact. It was like, oh, I have to do this. Okay, I'll do it. And he just got right to it. So I think he's a good inspiration for you guys, especially if you're going to be having a day where you want to eat the box of packaged cookies. I think he can be helpful in telling you why you should not eat the cookies and how to move forward on that. So if you guys have any questions about any of this, like I said, just reach out to Sheldon here on Instagram. Or to myself. There's a link in my profile. I'm also happy to set up a 15-minute discovery call with you that's free. So basically we can just chat and see if this is a good fit for you or not. Sheldon and I did that just to make sure that we were going to work together well, and it worked out. So definitely feel free to do that as well. So I think I got all of the questions.
My phone might go dead too, sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's warned me twice now.
So thanks you guys for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you in there. Bye. Thanks Sheldon. See you.